Hi, I'm Pete Holloway. I'm a retired financial advisor and a retired certified financial planner. And as always, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to On Money. Today's guest is Adam Payne. He is the producer of YNST magazine. You're Not Seeing Anything is what the YNST stands for. He's a Wheeling Park graduate, and at WVU, he was a double major undergraduate in journalism and acting and has a master's in digital marketing. Currently, he's marketing director for West Virginia Public Theater, as well as producing the magazine. I want to thank you for being with us. Tell us about the magazine. How did it get started, and what is it about?
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So YNST really started from a group of friends that identified this need for some sort of media outlet that was dedicated to the arts and culture here in West Virginia and Appalachia. And funny enough, when I was a freshman at West Virginia University as a journalism major, I joined a student organization which was dedicated for folks that had an interest in magazine publishing. And it just so happened to be the very first semester that they decided to create a magazine from scratch rather than just talk about magazines, actually create one start to finish. So I was able to get a really hands-on experience and meet this core group of friends that was really, really incredible at working together and just as creatives in general. And we all then worked through this student publication called Mirage Magazine. And by the time I finished my master's, I think we were on number 12 or 13. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to let this go. We really had grown something out of nothing into something that we were really, really passionate about and really loved that medium and that art form. So we decided to start over and start from scratch with a brand new publication. This time in print, we're going from a digital magazine to a print magazine and go through the entire learning experience of starting a business, starting everything from scratch, going the print route, and really knew right from the start that we wanted it to have something more substantial, like have some sort of deeper meaning that goes along with it. And all of us, like I said, we were journalists, but also creatives. Like you said, I was an acting major as well. I was seeing all of these incredible artists in the acting program, in the music program, the dance program, and outside of the university, just all of these incredible creatives that are here in West Virginia. But it seems like so much of the media that talks about our state and talks about our region is never addressing them and not seeing all of the good and all of the creative that we have here. And really, I think living here, you know firsthand the negative media that is often associated with the state and the region, at least on the national level, can really bog you down. And I think as a young person, we wanted to do something that sort of inspired the young creatives to have an outlet and have a vehicle to stay.
Well, that's great. So you decided to start the magazine. Being the money guy, the first question is, how were you financed? Was this a lot of credit cards? Did you have some investors? Because the printer is going to want the money now rather than waiting for people to pay for subscriptions or whatever.
Totally, totally. So funny enough, at the same time, when that first semester I joined Mirage Magazine, I also started working for a business center at WVU that was called the Launch Lab, which was for students that had an interest in starting new businesses. I was doing their social media. I wasn't directly involved in starting a business, but I was getting to learn firsthand the sort of like entrepreneurial ecosystem that was being developed in the state. And we went the pitch competition route to secure all of our startup funding. So we participated before we even had the first issue of the magazine. We knew we needed to get sort of a lump sum of startup funding to secure that this wasn't just some crazy project that was going to put us all in debt. So we participated in 6 pitch competitions, I think 6, 5 or 6 before we ever even launched the first issue of the magazine. And we were lucky enough to be awarded funding in all of them. Some of them all different amounts. So one, we got $1,000 here, 8,000 here,
Wow.
3,000 here. And we were able to pool a sum, I think of around $20,000 before we had launched the first issue of the magazine, which really, I think, set us up with a good foundation where we could, be able to offset so many of those initial startup costs. So we were able to build our website and print the first issue, which also had advertising. So we secured advertisers for the first issue at a lower rate, but it's hard to get people to want to advertise in the first issue of a publication without any proof that it's going to be, successful. So we got a few advertisers for the first issue. But yeah, I think that lump sum really, really set us off on a good pace to be able to keep going. And we've since, kept our pulse on some other pitch competitions. And I think it's just like sort of an unspoken, really valuable opportunity to secure some money. I mean, we participate in Show of Hands, which is here in Wheeling,
Mhm.
but also a lot of these other statewide competitions that I don't think I would have known about if I didn't get involved with the entrepreneur ecosystem or had that job experience at the Launch Lab at WVU.
All righty. So you got cash in the bank. Where did you find the staff? You're going to need authors. You're going to need artists and people that just do the back office work too. How did you get that started?
Well, I did not start on my own. Like I said, we had this group of friends. There were six of us that started right from the get-go all together. And we sort of are the same six that make up the editorial team. That obviously has presented a couple of challenges, like starting a business with six people at once and making sure folks are getting compensated for their work is a challenge sometimes. But that really took the brunt of like the behind the scenes work was all with that core six. And then in terms of authors and artists, for the first issue, we really just were within our own circle, our own network, reaching out to other peers that we had that were photographers or journalists with us at West Virginia University, artists that we knew. And then since then, it has been really just open calls. We have been at any time we have a new issue, we post an open call for submissions, and we've seen a really
Excuse me, where do you post them so that if anybody's listening and might want to submit something, where would they look?
So we post them on social media just to announce that they're happening, but the actual application is on our website, ynstmagazine.com/submissions. People can submit at any time to the magazine, and it can be writing, they can pitch a story. We also take creative writing, so we can take like poetry or prose, but they can pitch us a story, they can submit photography, submit their art, or submit fashion design. We try to make every issue as all encompassing of the arts as possible. So we have all of the different art forms. But with those open calls, so far we have just been letting our content sort of be dictated by the community and what other people are submitting to us and are interested in publishing, which has been really, really valuable, I think, is keeping our pulse on sort of what everyone has that interest in
So
the state.
each issue does not have a specific theme. It's just what showed up in the hopper that day. It's a
Well,
little more than that, but
Well, yes, we have some larger features. Like for our second issue, we knew we wanted to have larger features about music. The third issue, we had ones about social media influencers. This upcoming one, we have ones about outstanding arts education programs and historical figures. So like we know that we have these features that we want to expand upon, but when it comes to like securing writers and securing photographers to help with those pieces, a lot of that is coming from the open call, which has been really great so far. I think people are really like eager and hungry to get their work out there and also just to support a smaller indie publication. So the response from the community of creatives here has been really, really valuable.
initially this was Wheeling centric, at least the first issue. You have expanded throughout the state. Tell us about some of the other cities or organizations that you've been working with that are outside Wheeling.
Yeah, totally. So we are trying to expand to the entire region of Appalachia. So we every issue have tried to have some stories about Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee in there too, to keep it as sort of this united front of Appalachian arts and culture. And there's tons of organizations that have been interested in potentially partnering. Like this upcoming issue, like I said, we are writing some articles about arts education programs, and we've been talking to Apple Shop in Kentucky, which is this
Mhm.
incredible film organization, nonprofit down in Letcher County, Kentucky. Also have been talking with Golden Seal magazine, one of their creatives pitched us a story about the Folk Life program that they have here in West Virginia, which is just this incredible program about keeping the arts and crafts alive. But I would say our biggest collaborators and supporters have been other media outlets. Like we have seen,
Hmm.
rather than, this feeling of competition and like feeling like everyone was mad that we were entering into the space, I found personally that some of the other like independent publications have been really, really supportive of the magazine, like Black by God, the West Virginian, the Street Paper, and Highland Outdoors magazine. Both of them have been incredibly supportive of the magazine and like eager to collaborate on pieces that will be cross-published, eager to just give advice and support since they've been in the game longer. But that was something that I think I was not expecting. I thought it was going to kind of be a rat race where we're on our own, but the spirit of collaboration, at least from some of the independent, smaller publications, has been really great.
That's terrific. We have been just discussing the magazine. I know locally, and I think other places in the state, you've had some art exhibits. And also, being a digital master, is there a ynst.com or a place where people who are into film or whatever, music, can display their works?
I like the title Digital Master. I'm gonna start calling myself that. Um, but yes, we have been doing some in-person curated gallery spaces, which has been just better than I could ever imagine. We did the first one in December at 228 Gallery in Fairmont. The curator of that gallery space reached out and asked if we would be interested in curating a show. And we got just such an incredible response because we've tried to make all of our programming sort of like thematic to Appalachian culture and Appalachian art
Can you
specific.
can you describe that show and the theme and so forth?
Yeah, so the one we did in Fairmont was called 228 Gal, or it was called 228 Gallery, and the show was called Sights and Sounds of Appalachia. So it was all inspired by either the beautiful landscapes or of the sort of culture that's here in Appalachia. And then the one that we just curated at Wheeling Heritage at the Artisan Center was called New Traditions, and that one was art that was inspired by some of these more traditional crafts that have this longevity and lasting power here in West Virginia specifically, like basket weaving and quilting and ceramics and all of these art forms that could be perceived as cottage arts or craft, how those are being reimagined and reinstated for today, using new materials, using a contemporary lens when creating these modern pieces. And that one is still on display in the Artisan Center for another 2 weeks, I believe. But yeah, I think the in-person collaborations have been great because you can only feel the like tangible impact of the magazine so far. By publishing them, you kind of don't know how that directly impacts someone unless you ask them. But with the in-person galleries, we've seen, artwork getting sold. We've seen artists being able to collaborate and network with each other, which I think has been super, super wonderful. And then we just this weekend, upcoming June 8th, are unveiling this final in-person collaboration that we did with the Friendlier City Project, which is the Pride organization here in Wheeling, West Virginia. We curated a art gallery inspired by iconic protest art throughout LGBTQ history. And the artwork that we got is really, really impactful and profound. And I'm very excited to display that at Pride this weekend.
That's terrific. What directions are you planning to go in the near future? I mean, you've got so many things going, but keep expanding too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal is just to really increase our circulation. I think we have national subscribers from all across the country. I think we have 40 states covered. I want to hit all 50
Mhm.
for sure. But I think increasing our circulation, increasing our growth in terms of readership is definitely like number one goal with everything that we're doing. But I think these in-person collaborations that we're talking about, as well as these sort of cross-promotional media collaborations, is something that I can smell on the horizon, and I want to just keep growing and expanding on. I think that there's too much on the line for all of these different entities in media and in the arts to be sort of competing with one another. We should be collaborating. And I think when we do collaborate, the results are wonderful. So I just want to keep collaborating and keep these sort of cross-promotional, cross-collaborative opportunities coming to help artists here in West Virginia.
Your magazine can be found at several, I've seen it in numerous places where they just the customer walks in and can pick up a copy. Do you also have a ynst.com so people can look at, is that it?
Yes,
By the way,
ynstmagazine.com. Yep.
ynstmagazine.com. Okay, and so people can go there and see articles, pictures, upcoming events, and so forth.
Totally. Yes. All of the articles from every issue get added to the website. So we have, and some online exclusive content that is populated on our website. You can also, like I said earlier, submit to the magazine on our website and find locations to find all of the in-person copies of the magazine throughout the region.
Any hints about what will be in the next magazine?
I'm very excited for the one that's shaping up. Literally before I hopped on this call, I was writing the intro to this upcoming feature that we have about the Farm to Fashion program at West Virginia University. And that's something that I think is just incredibly unique about what is happening in the fashion program at West Virginia. I think fashion is like one of the last things folks think of when they think of West Virginia. So I love talking about fashion in the state, but they have just really taken immense strides to really focus on sustainability and like eco-conscious design with fashion at WVU. And I think fashion, the sort of like buzz talking point with it right now is how bad it is for the environment and how overconsumption is really hurting the earth. And they have developed this new program that incorporates like recycling wool from farmers and using all natural dyes and all natural sustainable materials. And it feels just very uniquely West Virginian in the way that they're doing it. And we just did a photo shoot 2 weeks ago with a designer who just graduated from the program, and she used all natural dye. She used chestnuts to dye her garments. She used recycled sheep wool. She used baking flour, all of these biodegradable materials to make her clothing. And I think it's going to be a really great feature. So that's the one I'm kind of the most excited for right now. But we have lots of great stories about, like I said, some historical figures that have been sort of lost in the West Virginia lexicon, as well as those outstanding arts programs. So we're talking about some really great arts educators and arts programming here in the state.
How many issues a year do you put out, or is that just dependent on what you have in the computer?
We're doing quarterly, but this is our first year doing quarterly, so that might change. But right now we are working on the summer issue, and then the next one will come out in September and December is what our current schedule is.
That's terrific. Well, I want to thank you for your time. Again, it's YNST, which stands for You're Not Seeing Things, which I think is I really like that title and something people can remember. Look for it on the newsstand. And again, just go to the internet and look it up and support the program. Again, thank you very much, Adam. We'll be seeing each other, and I want to thank the audience. We'll be seeing you next week.
Hi, I'm Jason Ake. I'm a grad student at West Liberty University, and I'm working on the Earthworm Lab. So we're attempting to study some invasive earthworms here on the campus property. We have a survey area where we go out and try and figure out how many they are, where they are, what species they are. Earthworms are really small, of course, and you don't really think about them, and you hear about them being good for gardens and all that. But these invasive earthworms live out in the woods and they eat basically everything. They live in the dirt, they eat leaves, wood, take all the nutrients out of the forest. Plants can't grow, bugs can't find food, even trees start dying because they run out of nutrients. So our end goal is just trying to get a better understanding of the species. We're using some new spatial analysis techniques. I really hope that we can include this research to write my master's thesis.
my name is Mackenzie Hall and I'm a grad student in the 3+2 General Biology program here at West Liberty. I'm currently doing research under Dr. Schmidt and I'm working with Francisella tularensis and Neisseria gonorrhea. I am doing research with resirufin pentyl ether and we're looking at the antimicrobial activity of this compound against those two bacteria. I met Dr. Schmidt my first year here at West Liberty and she introduced me to her lab space and then she invited me in, asked me to do some research, and it's really important in the world because our bacteria are becoming more resistant to antibiotics, so developing more analogs that are active against bacteria is very important. Being able to do research at the undergraduate and graduate level here at West Liberty has given me the opportunity to learn new techniques that I can use in future research and positions that I may apply for later on in life.
From humble beginnings in 1837, West Liberty University has been home to thousands of students. Whether you're a recent high school graduate or looking to complete a college degree later in life, starting your educational career at West Liberty University will be the catalyst for your future. This is a place where you will discover who you are and where you belong, surrounded by lifelong friends and a supportive faculty and staff. Start your journey home at westliberty.edu.